In 2011, South Sudan voted to secede from Sudan, choosing independence after decades of war. With newfound oil wealth, things looked optimistic for South Sudan. So how is it that the world's youngest country is again teetering on the brink of war in 2025? This is the flip side. Let's first look at the country's rival leaders, President Salva Kiir and Vice President Riek Machar. They have outwardly promised peace, but have also used fear of mass violence along ethnic lines to keep South Sudanese on tenterhooks and democracy at bay.
You know, with politics, tomorrow things are okay, the next day things are not okay.
After the first civil war between 2013 and 2020, key provisions of the 2018 peace agreement between Kiir and Machar remain unimplemented. There is no constitution acceptable to all parties, armed forces have not been unified, and voter registration has also not been renewed.
They have not done any of this, and the reasons for the failure is lack of political will. They don't trust each other.
So why has the situation worsened now? A catalyst is the civil war that has been raging in neighboring Sudan since 2023. A major oil pipeline runs through Sudan, and South Sudanese leaders in Juba can no longer benefit from oil revenues.
This coalition government was relying on oil money, which are transported to the oil market through Sudan. And the government revenues, 90% of that comes from these oil revenues.
More specifically, Salva Kiir and Riek Machar can no longer rely on oil money to buy the loyalty of the various armed groups in South Sudan, and thus strengthen their power.
This relationship between Kiir and Machar is not sustainable. It will end at some points, but it matters how it ends. The violence that is happening in South Sudan is not benefiting anybody.
And so we must ask, how does this all end? Can it end?
I do think the international community will coalesce a bit around sending messages to them, discreetly and also publicly to stop. The situation could trigger a much wider regional conflict, and I think that is the risk.
Political instability in South Sudan has so far emboldened a violent rush to control resources, and again shown how South Sudanese civilians are beholden to the whims of their aging leaders. But some argue this could become a pivotal moment for the state.
It can also lead, maybe, if it's channeled correctly, to conversations about, state building and social contract, because that's what this is all about, right? What is the state supposed to provide for me, and why am I a part of this state? And countries like South Sudan were put together in opposition to something, but what is the country about? And that's a conversation that needs to be had, right? What do we believe in?
Consider this. The average age of South Sudanese citizens is just 18 and a half years old, and most have only known a few years of peace.
I wish Biden to provide for us a permanent peace. Peace that we can move across the South Sudan without any attack, without any fight.
They should always have reconciliation among themselves, because we have come from far, from war, and where we are today, all we would wish for is peace in the country.
There is a desire to move away from ethnic quarrel and political infighting over resources.
I'll be like, we should leave this issue of tribalism, where I'll be like, because this political party is from my tribe, or this person is from my tribe, I should support him. If he's wrong or right, this is not what we want as a South Sudanese.
And that's the flip side.